going to the Final Four.
The following is a Learfield presentation of the Oregon Sports Network.
And Oregon is going to play in the national championship game.
This is Duck Insider.
We need to get community. We need this thing to be bigger than just our little circle of players and coaches.
Are you kidding me? Touchdown, Oregon.
With 2 seconds on the clock. He hits it!
That's the bigger picture in this thing, allowing the community to celebrate the hard work, blue-collar mentality this group brings to the table.
And the Ducks have won it. The Ducks have won.
We get to struggle together, and we get to have joy together.
The Ducks are Pac-12 champions.
I am so proud right now to be the head coach at Oregon.
Catch made. Touchdown, Oregon.
This is Duck Insider on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield, presented by OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Now let's go live to the Country Financial Studio to talk Oregon Duck Athletics.
A new week in Oregon Athletics here in the Country Financial Studio. I am Ryan Milano on Duck Insider, presented by OnPoint Community Credit Union. No Oregon football over the weekend. It was a bye week, but that does not mean that the team was not working. Oregon football last week went throughout their work week, getting prepared for what is going to be a big top 10 matchup coming up next weekend against the Huskies up in Seattle. Going to be a big one. A whole bunch went down in Oregon athletics this weekend. We have a whole bunch to talk about and not a whole lot of time to do it. So with Oregon football being off this week, it didn't mean that the Oregon creative team was off. By the way, Oregon creative team, you guys are killing it. Doing such a great job. The Ducks vs. Them series, another iteration. No game doesn't mean there's no content. Ducks vs. Them cinematic recap for work week this week. Let's see what the Ducks were up to.
On a quest, man. Right? Good to what? Great. And we ain't there yet. Are you still hungry? Are you still hungry? Everybody in the nation right now thinks we're about to go to bye week. We're going to work week.
Work week. Every week.
It's not about what you're capable of, man. Right? It's about what you're willing to do. Today we took a step forward. Right? Tomorrow we're going to take a step forward again. Right? Let's keep stepping. These are memories we go remember forever, bro. For the rest of our lives, let's make it count this week. I know we got a bye, but we got to work. They lead you a champion.
They've really embraced it and looked for ways to attack. And this is also a big week for us to be able to dial it back and get back to a connection. You know, get back to spending some time with each other outside of football.
Okay, so do me a favor. Can you hold the cube with both hands behind your back? Good. And you're going to start to mix the cube, and I'm going to do the same thing. And can you look at me? Great. We're never going to break eye contact, okay?
Okay.
But once you stop mixing, do you think that because we were looking at each other, I could have somehow been mirroring how you mix that cube behind your back? Can you put your cube in my hand? So hopefully the idea behind this is, can you see that? Is that one? Is that two? Is that 3, 4, 5, 6?
It's work week. Time to go check some classes. Let's see who's here. I got you. This guy working hard for you. That's what he's supposed to do. So far, so good. Yeah. Hundo. I like 100. It shows me what you're capable of.
So let me ask you, Colson, what does this look like to you?
That's an X.
Right. Just get next to it. Did you feel anything at all? Did I touch you?
No.
When I let go of it, it traveled all the way up your arm, across your chest. That hand's been behind you in a fist. Hold it like this. Open it like this. Turn it over.
Oh my gosh.
That was what Oregon football was up to this week. Not bye week, work week, and that was a whole lot of fun. I don't know how it happened, and I'm not supposed to. So that was great. Oregon football in for what is going to be a big-time matchup coming up this weekend against Washington. College game day will be there in Seattle. So at 6 a.m., college game day, Ducks getting featured on the national stage. Once again, always great when the Ducks are featured on game day. And last week against Stanford, it was Oregon bring your own juice to the game type of week. I don't think that Oregon is going to have to manufacture any extra juice for this game. Obviously, need to be hyped up, but if you're not hyped up for a top 10 matchup on the road against the Huskies, I don't know what you're going to be hyped up for, because these are two of the premier teams in collegiate football at the moment. You look at these two quarterbacks firmly in the Heisman conversation, Michael Penix Jr. and Bo Nix. You've got Bo Nix, who's top 10 in the country in a whole bunch of different passing categories. Number 1 in completion percentage. Michael Penix, number 2 in the country in passing yards, 3rd in passing touchdowns, only 2 interceptions on the year. That's 4th in the country behind 3 quarterbacks, including Bo Nix as one of them with just 1 in the country this year. So a quarterback battle that is going to be tremendous. Washington, a team offensively that utilizes the passing game more than just about anyone. Washington has 80 more pass yards per game than the next closest team in college football in Washington State. They will throw the ball a lot. So it's going to be the passing attack for Washington versus the balanced attack for Oregon, where the Ducks top 10 in passing offense, top 10 in rushing offense. Oregon defensively, top 5 in passing defense, top 20 in rushing defense. So a balanced offensive and defensive attack, whereas Washington, a very, very stout passing attack, hasn't utilized the run as much and hasn't been as successful against the run defensively either this season. Washington outside of the top 40 in both both defensive, rushing, and passing defense. And these are two teams, they move the ball efficiently on offense. Both teams tend to win third downs offensively, and it's really going to be against the balance of Oregon on both sides of the ball versus the passing proficiency of Washington. Going to be a very, very good matchup, one that should be high-flying, one that should be star-studded, and Oregon hoping to go up on the road and get the 3rd road victory of the season. Looking forward past this Saturday towards next Saturday, back when the Ducks are going to be at home in Autzen Stadium. Kick time announced for Washington State, 12:30 on ABC. If it sounds familiar, it's because it's the exact same kick time as it's going to be this Saturday. So back-to-back 12:30 kicks, the exact same time slot for Oregon, getting showcased in prime time. It's only natural. The Ducks continuing to shine on the national stage for football. I want to shift gears a little bit to women's golf, because they have also been on the national stage. They've been one of the best teams in the country over the past few years, and they are off to another strong start this season with Coach Derek Radley. Joey Mack, he caught up with the coach of Oregon women's golf last week. Let's hear about some Oregon women's golf.
I have to start with something that I just realized before we started recording. You know, everybody calls you Coach Derek, Coach D, but you have some competition in the Coach Rad section. Like, Jim Radcliffe has been Coach Rad around these parts for like 3-4 decades. So did you just know going in, like, there's no way I could ever go by Coach Rad? Derek Radley, women's golf head coach, is here, ladies and gentlemen. Hi. How are you?
Great to see you, bud.
Yeah? Things good?
Yeah.
Have you ever gone by Coach Rad? I mean, it's a great name.
No, I haven't. Coach Rad is the man, legend. Don't want to take away from him at all. Always been Coach D. Fun fact, though, Coach Chrissy Carmen, our new assistant coach, her son's name is Conrad.
Ha!
And so his nickname is Rad Man.
Yeah, that's
cutest
perfect.
Little guy. Yeah, he's
that's
great.
Perfect.
So,
hey, let's start there. New staff. How's it been going so far?
Outstanding.
Good.
Yeah, Coach Chrissy Carmen is fantastic. Last season, Coach Monica Vaughn, beyond thankful for the 5 years we had together, and certainly a legend in Oregon golf, and really has helped me get the program to where it is today. And she's just up the road in Portland, so super excited for her. She just had her first little baby boy.
Yeah.
Really excited for her and Justin. But Coach Chrissy, I opened it up and looked all over the country, and Chrissy is right here in Eugene. So
works out.
Very thankful for that. Her and Monica actually grew up playing junior golf together in Oregon. Outstanding player, won the U.S. Mid-Am last summer, which earned her the right to compete in the U.S. Women's Open, the U.S. Women's Am, and the British Am this past summer. So brings a ton of playing experience, and is a mom.
Right.
And of a cutest little 3-year-old guy, Conrad. So, the girls, I think, have just absolutely embraced her. It was really cute. They pulled me aside. They said, Coach T, you're 2 for 2 in hiring assistant coaches.
Nice.
I'm very thankful for.
Well
so
done.
Chrissy's amazing.
Well done.
Thanks, bro.
I wanted to start with the summer, the off season, but you're already 3 tournaments in the fall schedule, even though school is now, it's week 3 now for the University of Oregon. So tell us a little bit about what was the summer like, what was the off season like, a lot of recruiting, and I know probably a lot of hunger on your roster after last season.
Yeah, absolutely. Last season obviously was a bit of a disappointment, not being able to get through regionals. However, I told the team, when I was the assistant coach at Arizona, we won the national championship in 2018. We actually missed the national championship in 2017.
Wow.
Came back and won it the year after that. So we're using it. We're actually calling this year our revenge tour.
All right.
And
embracing it.
We're embracing it. We're hungry. A lot of senior leadership. A lot of outstanding golf this past summer. We had 6 Ducks compete in the U.S. Women's Am.
Yeah.
So extremely proud of that. We had a couple compete in the U.S. Women's Open at Pebble Beach. Very first time for the ladies to be able to compete at Pebble Beach was absolute historic tournament. Coach Chrissy Carmen, like I said, competed in that as well. So a lot of great experience. Proud moments always as their coach and leader, and it's been a great start to the season so far. So. Long way to go, but I'm loving the success that I'm seeing.
You talked about the experience a little bit there on the roster. I mean, you do have a number of 5th years, grad students. You have a bunch of seniors. How nice is that to have some veterans?
Yeah, it's great. Beyond thankful for Chin-Soo Chen. She's in her 5th year here for Oregon Ducks, and Brianna Chacon.
Yeah.
So, those two really have been with me since day one of coming to Oregon, and I'm so thankful that they decided to stay for their 5th year and really try to leave a legacy in this program, which they've already done.
Yeah.
And so for them to step into that leadership role and really put their arms around the newbies too, because we got a bunch of newbies as well. It's fun. We really have a good spread of ages and talent, certainly.
Well, I wanted to ask you about the roster in general. I mean, you're talking with Derek Radley, women's golf head coach. It's a much longer roster sheet than it's been in years past. It probably breeds a little more competition, I'd imagine.
It is. Our main focus, I would say, this year is the more competitive we are at home, the more competitive we're going to be on the road. So shout out to Lisa Peterson. She'd be really proud of me. She always wanted us to get the roster a little bit bigger. So excited that we have 10 ladies on the roster this year. But no, it's been great. The competition at home, positive competition at home, has breeded a lot of success on the road.
Yeah. So, all right, continuing on the roster front, you mentioned some of the newcomers. One of them, I understand, just joined the team.
She did. Tiffany, young lady from Taiwan, just actually showed up this past Monday evening.
Wow.
And so, being a quarter school, obviously we start school a little bit later than the semester schools. She's here, getting her through the onboarding process. Absolutely incredible, talented young lady. She's, I believe, 39th in the world right now in women's amateur golf. Very thankful she chose to come to Oregon. She won the Women's Asia Pacific Amateur a couple years ago, and excited to see her at this level.
So I'm curious, too, like another newcomer, but a veteran in Ashley Park. I got to ask you about an individual, because you talk about some of the individual rankings. She's right up there.
Yeah, boy, Ashley Park. So proud of her, along with everybody. But Ashley, in particular, has made huge strides at Oregon. When she came in, she transferred her junior year, came in last year, was her first year as a Duck. I want to say she was like 350 in the world rankings, which is outstanding and great, and had a lot of success at her previous institution, but has really hit the ground running. Last year had so much success.
Sure.
Made the Arnold Palmer Cup team that I was fortunate to coach for Team USA. We got that win. And she just got her first college win 2 weeks ago at the Mali Invitational. So, I believe she's in the top 100 in the world now, playing with confidence, healthy, and has become a huge part of this roster.
Yeah, it's amazing to think about how fast you can climb those rankings just winning a couple. I mean, we were talking before we sat down here that in a month period, you competed in 3 different tournaments. You know, you stacked them up, and it's led to some ranking climbing, it seems like, early in the year.
Yeah, you know, our goal has always been to compete in the very best tournaments that college golf, women's college golf in particular, has to offer. And so, you know, thankfully every time we tee it up, we're playing against the best amateurs in the world. Mm-hmm. So, you know, individually, if they go out and beat great players, their ranking's going to go up. But, you know, it's fun to see the individual success, but I can tell you that every single one of them really cares about the team success as well, and that's really special to me.
How about Minori Nagano, too? They've been competing for you a lot, a senior. That's got to feel good for a senior.
Mino is just the sweetest kiddo in the world, and yeah, I think last year, you know, we talked a lot about it. I think she was kind of getting her feet wet. Another junior transfer, came from junior college, had a lot of success at that level. But Mino played in the U.S. Women's Open this last year. You can see the confidence gaining, and she just seems really comfortable now at this Division I level. So she told me her goal for this year was just to enjoy it.
There you go.
And when she's on the course, I always make her smile. And boy, she can make a lot of birdies, and she's fun to watch.
Yeah, Annika Varma too. I was looking at the way that you ran down your lineup just in this last tournament earlier last week. It just as a freshman, now as a sophomore, how much growth have you seen?
Yeah, a ton of growth by Annika. Annika is so smart, and you know, really just wants to be a part of this program. Wants to push herself. Is an incredible teammate. And just every single day is always asking how she can get better, truthfully. And so I love working with Annika, as with all of them. And you know, she's got big goals, and we're going to continue to work hard to help her get there.
I'm going to continue just going rapid fire with you now.
Love it. Yeah.
Chara Romero, I mean, a freshman came in from San Jose, really highly touted recruit. What have you seen so far?
How about the welcoming she got? Pretty cool, huh? So, Chiara Romero from San Jose, California. 5'9", 5'10". I think she grows an inch every day, it seems like. Just one of the best ball strikers I've ever been able to see, watch, to coach.
Wow.
Just incredibly God-gifted talent. And so Chiara's really special. She obviously had an incredible success at junior level, winning the U.S. Junior Girls this past summer championship. She was honored on the football field. Really special when she got here for the first home game.
Cool.
Holding her trophy up. Her dad was in the background, Rick, and you know he's pumping the crowd up. It was great.
Good job, Rick.
Yeah,
well
Rick,
done.
Rick and his wife Marisol, they're fantastic. But yeah, Chiara's 17 years old. We check in for our first flight to go to the Annika Invitational. And, you know, I always get their IDs, you know, so we can check in. And I'm like, Chiara, where's your ID? She's like, Coach, I don't have one. I'm like, what? So I don't have a driver's license yet. Like, how you going to travel? She's like, well, I just travel as like a minor. I'm like, oh, my goodness. Okay. Right?
So what'd you do?
So we got her through, like, you know, and she goes and wins.
Yeah. Well.
So.
Just winning as a minor.
I mean,
right?
Just incredible.
That's
but
great.
Just you know, has absolutely, you know, I was thinking it was going to be this way, but just has really turned heads.
Okay.
And you can just see it. She's so talented. I'm so excited for her future. I think she's 9 for 9 rounds under par so far as a Duck. It's just different and really fun to watch.
So, you know, and we talked about a lot of individuals, and that was really the lineup that went through this last tournament for you in the fall. Now, talk about a big roster. It's led to a consistent top 5 ranking for your team. Do you talk about that with the team at this point of the year? I know you want to be number 1 in the spring, but it's nice to maybe get some recognition through the fall so far.
Yeah, you know, rankings, certainly we talk about it. I always put it on our travel itinerary, you know, where we're ranked versus the teams that we're competing against, which kind of helps our, you know, expectations, quote unquote, of where we want to finish in that particular event.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, we're just trying to get ready for postseason, right? Yeah. So all these experiences that we take, especially after last year, I think leaving that sour taste in our mouth, I think, you know, we're just really trying to get better each and every day so that when that time comes, we're hungry and we're ready to compete. So
Derek Radley, Oregon women's golf head coach. So now, what do you want to see the rest of the fall, heading into the spring? Some of the keys to success. What are you working on?
You know, so we have one tournament left at Stanford. Going to be a great event. And so, you know, just looking to go out, get after it, compete. We're going to have a nice break after that, which will be nice. to give the ladies time to really get caught up on schoolwork, and because we travel so much, right? We're really, us and I guess tennis are probably the only two sports that really travel in both the fall and the spring.
Yeah.
So
it's a year long.
Yeah, and so keeping them healthy, rested, but certainly we're gonna get after it and see, even though we've had a lot of success, where can we get better?
Sure.
And so we'll utilize that time this offseason to do that. So come springtime, we're ready to rock.
Now coming soon, you're talking about ready to rock, the Jake.
Yes.
So you've got a home. It's coming. It's debuting here soon. Just how excited are you to have that?
We've always called ourselves the Duck family, and now we are so thankful to have a place called home.
Yeah.
So the Jake, it's here. It's coming. We get to practice, on the putting green and the driving range alongside of it, and all of our athletes, both on Coach Casey Martin's team and mine, have been so excited each and every day down there at Emerald Valley watching it just come to life. And so it's gone quick. And, once they broke ground, it feels like yesterday, and we're here. So really excited for that next week to finally open and give the grand tour to our athletes to take a walk through. But so thankful to all the support. Justin Fisher, H.J. Cohen, Jody Sykes on her leadership through it all, Rob Mullins, and Jeff Gaskell really has had his team in there, putting so much time and effort, and certainly all the donors to make this dream, come to fruition. So excited to finally have it. All the latest technology is going to be there to help our athletes continue to grow as golfers, but also provide a space for them to really get closer,
right?
And just hang out, right? And get some schoolwork done, and just kind of just have a place to call home.
Yeah.
So really excited about that.
So keep your eyes peeled throughout the next couple weeks. There will be a lot of content about the grand opening. Really looking forward to it. Coach Derek Radley, hey, thanks for being here.
Appreciate you always, bud. Thank you, Joey.
Best of luck, and we'll see you at the Jake.
Look forward to it.
All right.
Thanks so much.
The opening of the Jake right around the corner, going to be really fun to go check out that facility once it finally opens up to the public. That was Joey Mack catching up with not Coach Rad, Coach Derek Radley, Coach D of the Oregon women's golf team. Also on the Oregon women's golf front, former Duck Sophie Kibsgaard-Nielsen won her third professional event over the weekend at the Lombardia Ladies Open. Congratulations to her. A lot of pro Ducks having success on the women's golf front, and a lot of current Ducks continuing to develop that program. Really great to hear from Oregon women's golf head coach, Coach Derek Radley. We're going to step aside, take a break, and also baseball. They're starting to get back into a little bit of action. They're practicing. We're catching up with Coach Waz next. You're listening to Duck Insider on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
As a local community credit union founded by teachers, OnPoint is committed to supporting the students and faculty at the University of Oregon. And on game day, we're right there with you, on the field, in the bleachers, and in the classrooms. Drop by our local branch today and discover the many ways OnPoint can help support your financial well-being. OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
Hey Duck fans, we're all about protecting our home turf here in Eugene. You should do the same for your home with Country Financial Insurance. Most home insurance doesn't account for inflation, but with Country Financial, yours can. If something happens to your home, make sure you can rebuild the same house in the same place. Call a local representative or 866-COUNTRY and get a solid defense for your home. Home insurance policies issued by Country Mutual Insurance Company, Country Casualty Insurance Company, or Country Preferred Insurance Company, Bloomington, Illinois. Property must meet age and condition requirements, which vary by state.
Don't go anywhere. Duck Insider continues after these messages on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
My simple solution to the problem was remove people from the scene and help them feel safer.
In response to attacks against Asian Americans, Maddie Park raised over $250,000 to donate cab rides to the Asian community.
There is so much more work to be done. We really need to come together and tackle this issue as a community.
Support the Asian community. Learn how at lovehasnolabels.com. Brought to you by Love Has No Labels and the Ad Council.
When it comes to making plans, you are the best. What about those round trips, which are perfect on your way there and perfect on your way back? Or those meetings with friends, surprise parties, camps, birthdays? The same way you plan for the important moments, start planning to protect you and your loved ones from a natural disaster. Sign up for local weather and emergency alerts. Prepare an emergency kit and make a family communications plan. Get started at ready.gov/plan.
Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
We're back on Duck Insider, presented by OnPoint Community Credit Union, where people are the point. Ryan Milano here in the Country Financial Studio. Just talked a little bit of football, caught up with Coach Derek Radley, the women's golf team. We're whipping all the way around the athletic department today. Oregon baseball, they're back in action. They're starting off their fall practices. Coach Wazakowski, Mark Wazakowski, heading up the Oregon baseball team. He spoke with the media, not last week, a few weeks ago, but it got us caught up on what Oregon baseball is up to, was up to over the summer, and how the Ducks are continuing to develop off of the super regional appearance last year. Here's Coach Waz.
Hi. Fall ball just starting. Just a couple thoughts so far early on in the process.
Excited, fun to be with the group, finally, new group on campus, and excited to just keep on building what we've started.
Dipped into the transfer portal a good bit, just from an offensive standpoint. What does Neville, Hurd, Casella, what do those guys provide you?
Well, time will tell, but they've had success. Those are really good players. Mason Neville is a guy that's, a really good player, was a really good player in high school. We recruited him hard. He chose to go to Arkansas, and now he's back, which is great. We're thrilled to have him. And all the kids have things they need to improve upon, but there's a couple of kids now that you mentioned that have had some real success at the college level, and it should help.
The run you guys went on late last season, just how did that influence just guys' motivation going into the offseason and the work they put in, both the success you had in the postseason, but then also the way it ended?
Well, I think they got a taste of it, right? And when they're looking around and they're looking at our stadium, the last 3 games that they played, they're pretty excited. When that place is rocking with students the way it was and the energy, that's something that, the feeling, the games go away, but the feeling doesn't. And so I think that definitely is a motivating factor during the off-season work and them getting now into the fall camp.
Is there anything you identified as last year's character traits from a group that did go far in the postseason that you're looking for out of a group this year that can have similar success?
They like to get in the weight room and lift weights and get strong. That was one. They really backed each other, and it was fun being at the ballpark every single day with those guys. That would be 2. And then 3 for me would just be just their desires to play as a team, even though there's a lot of individual desires as well. As we all know, all these kids want to make it to the major leagues if they can. So there's individual goals, but, they were able to put those individual goals aside and put the team first. And that was a lot of fun with that group last year.
Are there specific players that step up as leaders, whether it was last year or this year, to help that third point that you just mentioned?
We'll see. That's what you're looking for. You'd like to think that, there were 6 players drafted, and the one that showed back up to school was Isaac Aon. So he would be a great start. Him, RJ Gordon, some of those older guys. There were a lot of young kids that got a chance to be able to get a lot of experience, especially on the mound last year. And so there's a lot of leadership there. And so hopefully they can just continue to do that at the field. So far, it's been great.
Isaac and RJ, just what's their excitement, motivation, coming off their experience last year?
Well, all those guys, Isaac and RJ, Isaac's getting drafted. He didn't even play last year. And so he's a really talented kid. But when you don't play, boy, it's, can you imagine getting something that you love, the first thing that you love to do in your life, and it's taken away and you can't do it? We all kind of, as soon as that happens in your life, it puts it into perspective pretty quickly, and you start appreciating things probably more than you ever realized. And I imagine those are probably feelings without even asking those guys. They probably have felt that quite a bit. When something gets taken away from you, how much you really do appreciate it.
How have you grown as a coach from that experience last year?
Makes me hungrier. It's a process when we first got here, and it's a long process. There's a lot that goes into it. And so just to see some of the things start coming true that we were thinking we could pull off at Oregon, and now, we've been able to accomplish a lot of things in the first it's been 4 years, but the first one was kind of quirky with that COVID situation. So, in the next 3 years, so 4 overall, we've been able to build some things, and we're just looking to continue to build the program.
How do you feel about what you've added in the pitching staff? And you return a lot there, but how do you feel about what you've added and what they're bringing to the table?
Time will tell. We're like a bullpen or 2 in, so I can't really answer that question yet. I mean, on paper and whatever, you feel really good about it, but I want to see it with my own eyes.
Health notwithstanding, because how can you project that? But what do you want to see that group address, change, improve on relative to last year, where you're not just changing some guys, you're changing a member of this. Well, changing a member of the staff. Jake got an opportunity, but what are you looking for from this pitching staff this season in terms of not just improved health, but results-wise?
Well, I mean, you're looking for all the metrics to improve, every single year in every department, every category. Every year's different. Every year's got different personnel. And so, to compare them to a team last year would probably be unfair just because it's different personnel right now. I think for the guys that are the same personnel, you can say, hey, we want these guys that are the same personnel to be able to improve their numbers and stuff like that. The new guys, they're going to be new. And so they don't really have anything to go back to say, this is what I've done in the past, so this is what I should be expected to improve upon. So time will tell. A little bit too early still yet.
You did have some young arms thrown into the fire last year. Kind of the benefit of that experience, how much is that going to pay off for those guys this year?
Well, the plan was for it to help out a lot, right? And so when you throw those young guys out there, you're thinking, okay, this experience is probably going to be a bumpy road, full of good and some not so good, because that's what freshmen usually do, is they're inconsistent. We saw the consistency start showing up, especially late in the year with Turner Spoljaric and Grayson Grinsell. And so as you start seeing the consistency show up more and more, it just looks like they're becoming sophomores, which is the best part about, a freshman, is they get to be a sophomore. So they're sophomores now. And so hopefully those guys are more experienced and they've learned, and we're going to see a better version of themselves, which is great.
Speaking of the freshmen, just what was that group's reaction like, watching them from the outside, going to be a Duck this fall, like watching you guys go so far in the postseason, and, the way it ended, making them hungry to come in and even better that this year. Just what was their reaction like coming into campus after that run?
Well, it was visible to the public, and so that was the biggest thing. It blew a lot of people's minds when they were tuning into the games, and it was nationally televised. It was the feature time slots, and those games were unbelievable. They were the most exciting games that anybody saw in any college baseball events. And so last year, and PK Park was, the students had a lot to do with that. And so, whether it's the recruiting trail right now, talking to the younger kids, they all saw that too. And it blew their mind. So when they're going, wow, I want to play in front of a lot of fans. I want to play in front of a big time venue. I mean, that's exactly what PK Park is now. And the guys in last year's club created that. So now the new guy comes in basically into the program, and they go, whoa, okay, I need to keep that going, and I need to improve that. And so I think that there's a little bit just of a natural standard that's increased, and a natural pressure now on guys that come in new, that they all look at it and say, wow, okay, well, we see what we've come into from last season, and our job's to improve it. So whether it's pressure or an opportunity is up for the individual and their mindset, and we like to think that it's a great opportunity for us to improve what we developed and have developed in the last few years.
What's it been like working with Hawk so far?
Coach Hawksworth's awesome. He's his resume speaks for himself. He's a major league pitcher. He pitched for the Dodgers, pitched for the Cardinals. And right now the Dodgers just got named as the organization that's won the most games throughout their minor league system. Their player development is elite, the best in the major leagues. Hawk's a product of all of that. He pitched in the major leagues for 2 teams. He was an agent with Scott Boris's corporation. He knows that side of the game. He was also a pitching coach at Cal State Fullerton when they went to College World Series, amongst other great programs. His demeanor is unbelievable. He's really, really good. And so he's just started with these guys yet, so he's just starting to have a little bit of an impact, and probably more watching and learning more than anything else quite yet, but Hawk's really good at what he does. Everybody in the business knows it, and everybody in the business knows that he's going to do a great job at Oregon.
Last question. Fall scrimmages.
Fall scrimmages, we'll let you know when those things are happening. We're going to take a look at our personnel first and kind of go from there.
That's Coach Wazakowski catching you up with Oregon baseball. All of the inner workings that go on throughout the summer for Oregon baseball. Great job by Coach Waz getting us caught up on the X's and O's and the Jimmies and Joes that are going to be on the baseball diamond coming up pretty soon here. We're going to take another timeout. When we come back, Oregon soccer head coach Graeme Abel just walked into the studio. We're talking with Coach next on Duck Insider on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Dear roads, trails, and rivers. Ready for some SUV action? Drive family adventures with the Highlander. Make a splash with the RAV4. Or haul fun with a Sequoia. Check them at Toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
As a local community credit union founded by teachers, OnPoint is committed to supporting the students and faculty at the University of Oregon. And on game day, we're right there with you, on the field, in the bleachers, and in the classrooms. Drop by our local branch today and discover the many ways OnPoint can help support your financial well-being. OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
Dear roads, trails, and rivers. Ready for some SUV action? Drive family adventures with the Highlander. Make a splash with the RAV4. Or haul fun with a Sequoia. Check them at Toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
Duck Insider, your home for the latest news on Oregon athletics on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
My name is Teresa Barber. I was in the United States Navy and I served overseas in the Middle East and Africa. Early on in my career, I had a commander that taught our suicide prevention training, and the very next day he took his own life. 90% of suicide attempts involving a gun are fatal. My way of continuing my service is to help protect my community by being a responsible gun owner and by storing firearms safely. Store all your guns securely. Help stop suicide.
Brought to you by End Family Fire and the Ad Council.
This message is for Karina, our mom who finished her high school diploma at age 28. Hi, Mom. It's Emmettith and Nicholas. Congratulations on getting your diploma. You worked so hard and have taught us so much. We love you.
When you graduate, they graduate. Finish your high school diploma for you and for them. Visit finishyourdiploma.org to find free and supportive adult education centers near you. Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.
Back in the Country Financial Studio on Duck Insider, presented by OnPoint Community Credit Union. Ryan Milano joined by Oregon soccer head coach Graeme Abel.
How we doing?
Coach, thanks for joining the show. Coming off of a weekend this weekend down in Los Angeles against two very difficult teams. I just kind of want your assessment on the weekend. Didn't get in the win column this weekend, but did put together a few tough performances against teams that are ranked very highly. I just want your kind of diagnosis of the weekend.
Yeah, I mean, I thought we, early on in the games, thought we played really well. I mean, against USC, thought we did really well in the first, right until they got the penalty in terms of that piece. Similar to the UCLA game again. I mean, it was, thought we played really well the first 15 minutes. Maybe put together some of our best stuff of the season. I mean, that's been the consistent theme in terms of starting off games really well. I think it was only the Utah game where we didn't start great, but started the UCLA game really, really well. But the reality is, even more so than any opponent we've played this season, with both of those teams, just the individuals that they've got on the team, when you go down a goal, then it's, I think that's been a consistent theme that we've spoken about a number of times, is it's very hard to come back. But really happy with the pieces that we did put together. Again, young group and continue to show signs of improvement. It hasn't come out in the win column yet, unfortunately. But still moving forward, which is good.
And you're still building this Oregon program in a young roster. When you go down to Los Angeles and you play against USC and UCLA, who are perennial powers in the Pac-12 and in the national landscape, what are some of the steps that you're taking to build the program to that type of level? And when you see it represented in Los Angeles, what can you kind of take away from that?
It's not deviating from what we do in terms of long term. Making sure we teach and continue within the games in terms of how we want to do things. And so We have to tweak every now and again based on result or based on who we're playing, or basically if we've got a certain player out or something like that. But it's continued to do the things that we want to do and get back to that place where we're able to really go toe-to-toe with opponents.
And you're continuing to make changes with the lineup, make changes with the roster, some new starters in this weekend. Yep. And we talked last weekend about goal and what Leah did back in goal last weekend. Yep. And it was a bit of a goalkeeper by committee this weekend where Maddie Goldberg got some run, Leah Parsons got some run. Talk to me about your goalkeepers.
Yeah, I mean, I thought, Maddie did well versus SC, and we just felt at halftime of the UCLA game, we needed something a little bit different in the goal there, and so we decided to make the change at halftime and got full confidence in Leah in terms of what she can do for us, and so decided to make that change.
Hey, Ainsley Fink getting into the starting lineup the first time this season. How did she earn that spot? What has she shown you this year?
Yeah, we needed just solidify that right side a little bit. Ainsley typically plays central for us, and so defended a little bit for us, defending kind of from the inside out and helping us. When UCLA were going to put numbers up on the line out wide, and so making sure that we didn't get pulled out too wide too quick, and we thought Ainsley could do that job for us, and she's always solid when she plays for us, Ainsley, and she was solid again for us in the game against UCLA.
This weekend, pretty big for the growth of the sport, and the NWSL set an attendance record. Megan Rapinoe, her ceremony getting celebrated, one of soccer's biggest legends on the women's side of the game, and record, and you've worked with her. Can you talk about the growth of the game? We saw it with volleyball this year in the Midwest, where open up a football stadium, setting attendance records over there, and in soccer now, the growth of the women's game. Can you touch on that?
Yeah, I mean, I think here in the state of Oregon, the Portland Thorns, they were the ones early on that were, I think, getting 16,000, 17,000 people week in, week out. Whenever I used to go watch games there, in my last job, I used to love going to Portland to go to the Thorns games, and so they really set the standards for everybody. And then Seattle's just done a great job there in terms of getting the fans out there for Pino's last game. But no, the league continues to grow. 2 more teams coming next year in Bay Area and Salt Lake coming back in as well. I think they'll add a couple more teams after that as well. So no, it's awesome. Globally, the game is, especially on the women's side in particular, is getting stronger and stronger. The investment that's happening around the world. When you saw it in this last World Cup, I mean, teams from all the different continents were phenomenal in terms of what they were doing. And now the club side, the money's trickling down from the men's side in the Champions League, and that's trickling down into the women's side. So you're seeing great investments. Salaries are going through the roof. Facilities are getting better and better. So it's just it's an awesome time to be part of the women's game.
You worked with Megan Rapinoe. What are some of the character traits that make her special? One of the differences that separates her from, I hate to say just another regular professional athlete, but she's one of the legends of the game. What sort of separates her at the top of the top?
I think it's a confidence in herself. She really committed just before I got there, I think, in terms of the physical side of the game. I know her relationship with Sue Bird changed a lot of in terms of how she handled herself as well in terms of as a professional. Unbelievably dedicated to her craft. I mean, in our sport, because there's a tendency at times that you'll take reps away from players just because of how much mileage they're putting on their legs and things like that. But Pino was always one for hitting 10-15 minutes of free kicks after practice, would always do the extra pieces. And unbelievably confident woman as well. You saw that in 2019, how she went out and handled certain parts of things with the media and the political landscape and that piece around it. And so, good person, incredible professional, superstar that put so many things on her back and ran with it. So I'm sure she'll enjoy her retirement.
And you're someone who's sent a lot of women to the professional level. You've coached at the professional level. And so when you sort of take some of those character traits and circling back now to your own team and continuing to develop the team that you have here at Oregon, what are some of the traits that make someone like a Megan Rapinoe special that you're starting to see begin to develop in some of the players that you're putting on the pitch here at Oregon?
It's a good question. I mean, the top pros do all the little things the right way and do all the extras, and it's, you know, they don't have school professionals. Remember, they're not student athletes. They're purely athletes, and you know, they have access to XYZ. But you know, here at Oregon, we have access to those pieces as well in terms of the facilities and resources, and so it's finding the time to do the little extras. Everybody's good at that level, but there are certain things that separate the good from the great. The great are willing to do the extras, are willing to do the little pieces, that are willing to push through when times get tough. You know, so that's what makes those players great. They're brutally honest about what they need to do to continue to get better. They don't want any fluff around it. They want it, you know, straight at them. And so there's no wasted time in terms of their development and their evolution. It's give it to me straight and let's move forward with it. And so they're all like that. The best of the best. That's how they are. That's how they continue to move forward. And so you know, we have to do it a little bit differently with collegiate athletes. You know, we're still honest with them. Maybe have to drip feed it a little bit more. But you know, hopefully they've got 4 years with us in terms of their development. We're pros, you know, they never know where the next contract and stuff could end, and so they want it a little bit quicker. And so you just try to teach those pieces with student athletes, and hopefully, you know, more and more players we recruit want to be professionals, and we've had a few go in the last couple of years, which is great. And we want to continue more to move along into the professional level.
Well, I'll take us from this macro view, and I'll zoom us into this weekend. Just one game over the weekend on Friday against Arizona State at 7 o'clock. Keys to success against the Sun Devils.
Well, again, I think it's the start that we've been able to put together in the last few games, but we have to capitalize upon it. There's no point in having a good start if you can't finish strongly as well. So it's taking advantage of that piece. You know, again, I sound like a tape recorder, but getting the first goal is critical for us. They're going to be a good team. They'll play. You know, I know that Graeme, the coach, is there. He's done a really good job there in terms of reestablishing Arizona State as a good program. So we need to be on our game, and so, you know, gives us playing on the Friday gives us the extra day, which is great in terms of recovery piece. We're able to do a recovery today, give our kids tomorrow off, and then when we hit Wednesday, we'll start to refocus then for the Arizona State game.
Playing at home, 7 p.m. on Friday. I assume the plan for all fans is going to be go to Pape Field on Friday night, caravan up Saturday morning for the football game. Does that sound good to you?
Yeah, and get that last flight to Seattle, right? That was about 9:30 flight or something like that to Seattle. Get that there. Do a bit of college game day, right, in Seattle?
Yeah, so I'm personally flying up at 5 in the morning. You can do that too. Join me on the flight.
We'll have practice, but my wife's family, there's a lot of Huskies in there, so we'll get some bragging rights on Saturday night.
Well, Coach, anything else the fans should know?
No, all good.
All right, thanks for hanging out. Oregon soccer head coach Graeme Abel ahead of this weekend's matchup against Arizona State. We're back after this on Duck Insider from the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Dear roads, trails, and rivers. Ready for some SUV action? Drive family adventures with the Highlander. Make a splash with the RAV4 or haul fun with a Sequoia. Check them at Toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
Hey Duck fans, we're all about protecting our home turf here in Eugene. You should do the same for your home with Country Financial Insurance. Most home insurance doesn't account for inflation, but with Country Financial, yours can. If something happens to your home, make sure you can rebuild the same house in the same place. Call a local representative or 866-COUNTRY and get a solid defense for your home. Home insurance policies issued by Country Mutual Insurance Company, Country Casualty Insurance Company, or Country Preferred Insurance Company, Bloomington, Illinois. Property must meet age and condition requirements, which vary by state.
Dear roads, trails, and rivers. Ready for some SUV action? Drive family adventures with the Highlander. Make a splash with the RAV4 or haul fun with a Sequoia. Check them at Toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
Don't go anywhere. Duck Insider continues after these messages on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
And here's Heather with the weather.
Well, it's beautiful out there, sunny and 75, almost a little chilly in the shade. Now, let's get a read on the inside of your car. It is hot. You've only been parked a short time and it's already 99 degrees in there. Let's not leave children in the back seat while running errands. It only takes a few minutes for their body temperatures to rise, and that could be fatal.
Cars get hot, fast, and can be deadly. Never leave a child in a car. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
The possibility of lung cancer can be pretty scary, especially if you're one of approximately 8 million current or former smokers at high risk. That's why SaveByTheScan.org wants you to know that now there's a breakthrough low-dose CT scan that can detect lung cancer early, and it only takes 60 seconds. You stop smoking, now start screening. For an easy quiz to see if you're eligible, visit SaveByTheScan.org. It could save your life. SaveByTheScan.org is brought to you by the American Lung Association's Lung Force Initiative and the Ad Council.
Back on Duck Insider, presented by OnPoint Community Credit Union here in the Country Financial Studio. I'm Ryan Milano on Monday Duck Insider. Just heard from Oregon soccer head coach Graeme Abel. We've already heard from Oregon baseball head coach Mark Wazakowski. It's a head coach day here on Duck Insider. We're changing gears. We're going to the head coach in the dugout to what a lot of people call the coach on the field, the catcher position. Bennett Thompson with Oregon baseball, still talking some Ducks on the diamond as they get back here in the swing of things in the fall. Here is the catcher, Bennett Thompson.
You guys lost some veteran leaders. Are you a guy that can step in and try to fill a role like that for this squad now?
Yeah, I hope so. My first 2 years here, I had a lot of great examples of guys like that, whether it was Tanner Smith or Gavin Grant or Drew Cowley on the position player side. But something we preach in this program is that everyone's a leader and that you can be a leader in everything you do. Doesn't matter if you've been here for 5 years or for one. So I think, yeah, I can hope to be an example to the younger players on this team, but at the same time teach them to be leaders of other people as well.
What were you looking to improve upon in the offseason? And you ended last year on an absolute heater, but how do you try to carry the momentum and continue to improve in the offseason?
Yeah, I just wanted to continue to build consistency. I think that I definitely had a good stretch of games at the end of the season, but just wanted to keep developing my swing to a point where it was consistent and I felt like I could produce that way all the time instead of just in spurts. And then behind the plate, just to continue to build my leadership skills as well as just keep polishing all the technical things, whether it's blocking or throwing. And so I think just a lot of my development I've been trying to do from a leadership role, just stepping in and being an older guy this year. And hopefully that can then lead into my play as well.
You had an up-close perspective on kind of the roller coaster ride for some of the young arms last year. Is their demeanor different this year based on kind of some of the struggles and successes they experienced last year?
Yeah, I think that a lot of those guys were able to learn from their mistakes and from their successes. I don't think we had a pitcher who didn't have a bad outing or one that didn't have a good outing. So I think that those guys, if they were able to take a step back and to just gain some perspective and see what they did well and what they could do better and how they can get there. Just in the first week or so, I've definitely seen some maturity from some of these young guys that maybe were lacking that a little bit last year. So it's exciting to see.
Continuing to develop for Oregon baseball off of a strong last year, a trip to the Super Regional. Still a lot more and a lot more goals ahead for Oregon baseball. I'm sure we'll continue to hear about them as we continue to march forward towards the season. It's almost basketball season. All of a sudden, it's almost going to be baseball season. Where does the time go? I don't know. Where's the time in the show go? We'll find out after this. Time out. You're listening to Duck Insider on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
As a local community credit union founded by teachers, OnPoint is committed to supporting the students and faculty at the University of Oregon. And on game day, we're right there with you, on the field, in the bleachers, and in the classrooms. Drop by our local branch today and discover the many ways OnPoint can help support your financial well-being. OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
At Shadow Hills Country Club, we're more than just an award-winning golf course and practice facility. Our events team offers all-inclusive event pricing that allows us to take care of all the details while you enjoy your event. Our indoor and outdoor venues offer you a wide variety of fully staffed options that put the focus on you. From weddings to business and social events, at Shadow Hills Country Club Events Center, you get the benefits of a resort atmosphere and amenities in a peaceful country setting, just minutes from downtown Eugene. Call for a tour today or visit shadowhillsevents.com.
Duck Insider, your home for the latest news on Oregon athletics on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Into the building for the first time after the shooting. It was crippling, but it had to be preserved.
In response to the Pulse nightclub shooting that affected the LGBTQ community, Barbara Poma, owner of Pulse, founded the One Pulse Foundation to honor Pulse victims and survivors.
If you're an ally of this community, speak out. There are more of us together than apart. It is the power of love in its rawest form.
Join the fight for LGBTQ acceptance. Learn how at lovehasnolabels.com. Brought to you by Love Has No Labels and the Ad Council.
The impact of a meal goes well beyond feeding our bodies, because feeling full can sound like this.
How did the interview go? I did it! I got the job! I can't believe it!
And like this.
Mom, I got first place at the science fair with my volcano project.
That's amazing, sweetie. Congratulations. Because when people are fed, futures are nourished, and everyone deserves to live a full life. Join the movement to end hunger at feedingamerica.org/actnow. Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
Back on Monday, Duck Insider here in the Country Financial Studio. Duck Insider presented by OnPoint Community Credit Union. It's time for the Cafe Yum 2-minute drill. A little bit of Oregon women's basketball news. I mentioned going out of the last segment, basketball season's almost here. Yeah, we're like less than a month away. It's right here. Grace Van Slooten for Oregon women's basketball honored as a preseason All Pac-12 teamer. Congratulations to Grace Van Slooten. Oregon women's tennis, they got their season started over the weekend. The Duck Invitational at the UO Student Tennis Center. Oregon went 10-2 in singles and 6-1 in doubles against Portland, Portland State, and Washington State across the 3-day invitational. Great job for the Oregon women's tennis team. And Oregon volleyball. They just went on the road to the mountain schools, and well, they came out with a pretty successful weekend, continuing to remain in the top 5 in the rankings for the second consecutive week. The Ducks swept Colorado by a score of 3-0. They beat Utah by a score of 3-1. Matt Ulmer talked about it, how it's not always an easy road trip. It wasn't supposed to be that easy. Oregon really set the tone. Went into Colorado, got the win, a big-time victory for the Ducks in straight sets against Colorado. Really, the whole team effective in that match. Morgan Lewis was strong. And then against Utah, it was a 3-1 win. Couldn't have a perfect weekend. I guess 6 out of 7 sets has to do. Oregon volleyball with a really nice road trip and a great job by the creative team. We saw the football recap of the work week. They also made one for volleyball. It was great. Joey's talking with Matt Ulmer tomorrow. See you, everybody.
Hi, I'm Smokey Bear, and I made an assistant to help you out, because only you can prevent wildfires.
Hey, Assistant Smokey Bear.